Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the main gym here at Ann Arbor Pioneer High School's campus, where it is Pioneer taking on Huron. The freshman contest was canceled for today, but the JV team and the varsity teams are playing. The ladies teams are playing over at Huron, and I believe Huron should have that out there. We tweeted out Huron's Boxcaster link, so if you're looking for that, please check out that and cheer on the teams. We appreciate you tuning in and checking out the JV squads. We have about 10 minutes and 22 seconds counting down, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Pioneer Men's Junior Varsity Basketball is live and on the air. When we were last with this team, it was on Friday, and the varsity team did not play, but the freshman team had a convincing win over the Ypsilanti Lincoln squad, and then it was a battle between the two JV squads as Pioneer had the lead going into the fourth. They had a 10-point lead at one point in time in the second half, and Ypsilanti was able to come back and whittle down that lead and win. I believe it was by 6 points. I don't have my notes for me in front of there, but it was a hard-fought game by both teams. The JV squad now has a talented Huron squad across the way, and they'll do their best to get another win here versus a high-quality opponent. And then the varsity game, which will happen after this, probably around 7 o'clock. Pioneer and Huron have tangled once already. That was back on the 27th of February, and Huron had a fairly convincing win, 51-33 for the varsity squad there. And Pioneer looking to try and take aim at this highly rated Huron squad on both the JV and the varsity side of things. So we're going to play a few messages from the MHSAA, and then we will get going in just about 8 minutes and 15 seconds. We really appreciate you watching and supporting these teams wherever you are at. Thank you so much for cheering the teams on. And hopefully in the not too distant future, we will we'll have a few more people in the stands being able to cheer on the teams. I know the athletes will appreciate that, and everyone will appreciate that. So at this moment in time, let's play a few messages from the MHSAA, and then we will be back with Pioneer Junior Varsity Men's Basketball taking on Huron.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
clock ticks down. We're getting ready for Pioneer men's JV basketball taking on the Huron River Rats. Huron in their road green jerseys with Huron in block lettering on the front, numbers in white on the front and on the back with a white stripe down the middle. Pioneer in their home whites with the numbers in purple on the front and back. Pioneer in arched block lettering across the front. As we are getting ready to go here, there's no jump ball due to current rules this year, but inbounding in front of us is Hayward for the River Rats. And we are about to get underway. 8 minutes up on the clock. First, getting ready for the first quarter. That's inbounded to Ted Lee. Ted Lee brings it up for Huron as he comes over, guarded by Uhas. Ted Lee on the far wing, gets it into the far corner, over to Kiefer. Kiefer working his way, trying to work around the arc. Kiefer trying to get down the baseline now, kicks it off. That over on the near side, over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee tries to get up underneath. Rebound pulled down by Anthony, and Anthony puts it up. First points of the game. As here comes Pioneer. Uhas brings it up. Uhas gets it over into the far corner. That moving over. Here comes Christian. Christian dumps it underneath, trying to get it to Delaney. Contact made. Whistle blown. That's going to be the first foul of the game. Delaney was fouled in the act of shooting, so 2 shots. As Delaney toes up the line, dribbles, puts it up, puts it in. First points for Pioneer, 2-1. Currently the lead for Huron. One more shot coming for Delaney as he gets the ball. Spins it, toes the arc, or toes the free throw line. Bends his knees, puts it up. Off the back of the rim, that gathered in. Rebound pulled down by Anthony. Anthony moves it over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee coming down the far sideline. Ted Lee trying to get into the paint. Spins with it. Ted Lee now gets it over on the near side, over to Hayward. Hayward comes just outside the blockades. Hayward kicks it over on the near side. That underneath, trying to get it. Hayward puts it up off the glass. He puts it in. That's the first points for Hayward. And Huron has the 4-1 lead on Pioneer early in the first quarter. That over to Christian. Christian dribbling, trying to get into the paint. Steps back, fall back, as that was about a 10-footer and just off to the left. That goes out of bounds. That will be Huron's ball. Huron with the 3-point lead. They will inbound. As inbounding, that is Kiefer. Kiefer gets it over to Anthony. Anthony gets it. Now here comes Ted Lee. Ted Lee gets into the paint, passes it off. That put up and in by Eliler. That's 2 points for him. Huron has the 6-1 lead. Christian has it now. Hands it off to Frisler. Frisler moves over on the far side to Pasternak. Pasternak over to Uhas. Uhas top of the key. Uhas gets it over to Christian. Christian coming down the far base, or coming down the baseline on the far side. That is going to be Huron ball, as Huron has the 5-point lead. 6:15 left to go here in the first. Ted Lee brings it up court for Huron. Ted Lee comes over half court. Bounce pass over on the near side to Hayward. Hayward trying to get it underneath to Anthony. Anthony coming down the far baseline, spins with it. Off glass, puts it in. That's his 4th point. 8 for Huron, 1 for Pioneer. Uhas bringing the ball up court for Pioneer. He comes over half court. Uhas coming down the far sideline. Dribbles it, gets to the lane, into the paint. Uhas up with the right hand, spins off the back of the rim. That pulled down by Huron, coming ahead. Here comes Ted Lee with it, coming down baseline as he was kind of falling forward, trying to roll it off his fingertips and just out of balance. Whistle blown. That will be a foul in the act of shooting. So Ted Lee will have 2 shots coming. Is looking to make the lead 9 if at all possible. Ted Lee puts it up. That bounces off the back of the rim and then Bounces away. One more shot coming for Ted Lee. Dribbles, bends the knees, puts it up, puts it in. So first points for Lee. It's 9 for Huron, and quickly tipping it away. Knocking that ball back out of bounds. Pioneer will inbound as Huron has the 8-point lead. Frissler inbounds it over to Juhas. Juhas coming down for Pioneer. He goes over to Blockades over half court. Gets it over to Frissler. Frissler on the near wing. Trying to move it over to Christian in the far corner. Trying to get it into the paint. That knocked away. Here comes Anthony with it the other way. Anthony puts it up. That knocked away. As now grabbed by Huron. Now Pasternak with the rebound. That quickly ahead for Pioneer. Delaney puts it up with the right hand and lays it in. Delaney with 3 points. It is Huron 9, Pioneer 3. As Ted Lee brings it ahead for the River Rats. Juhas watching him. He gets over half court. Ted Lee on the far wing. Moves it over to Hayward. Trying to put it into the far corner for Anthony. That out of bounds. It's going to stay here on ball. So it looks like they have Ted Lee to inbound on the baseline right underneath his own basket. As Ted Lee looking for a place to go with it, he gets it over into the far corner for Hayward. Hayward puts up a three-pointer, and Frissler with the rebound quickly ahead to Juhas. Juhas bringing ahead for Pioneer. That over half court, dribbling, trying to get to the free throw line. As that's tipped away, down Juhas, bounce passes it over to Frissler. Frissler gets it to Christian. Christian works his way around the arc into the paint, puts it up with the right hand, rolls off the side in the front of the rim. Would not fall. Rebound by Huron, as that was Eliler with it. Now Ted Lee with it for Huron. Bounce pass over on the far side to Williams. Now pulling it, coming down the baseline, that off the side of the glass. Here comes Pioneer the other way. Juhas quickly head to Christian. Christian into the paint, puts it up. Basket no good. Basket no good. An exclamation from the there's an explanation from the Pioneer bench as they were hoping that was a good. It's going to stay Pioneer ball, but they're going to say the shot or the foul was before the shot. As Pasternak inbounds it, that over to Frissler. Frissler takes a 16-footer, that off the side of the front of the rim, and here comes Huron with it. Huron coming ahead as Bibbins has it over half court. That is going to be a travel as the ball tried to sneak away from him. He got it back, but took a step during that point in time. Now it's going to be Pioneer ball. Huron 9, Pioneer 3, 30:58 left to go here in the first. As Rohrer will inbound on the near sideline. Hausman also in for Pioneer, as well as Juhas, Christian, and Frissler. That brought ahead by Hausman. Hausman comes over half court for Pioneer, puts it along the far sideline for Juhas. Juhas quickly over to Frissler. Frissler working his way around the arc, hands it off, spinning with it. Hausman trying to get into the paint, back to Frissler. Frissler for three. That off the side of the rim, then the glass, but there is a whistle. And that looks like a foul on the three-point shot, so that's going to be 3 shots for Frissler. It's Huron 9, Pioneer 3. Frissler could cut the lead in half. First one goes in. Toes the line. So now it's 9-4. Frissler bends the knees, eyes the rim, puts it up, puts it in. 2 beautiful free throws. Very little contact with the rim right into the net as substitutions coming in. Number of players. Bramson in for Huron, as well as Salahuddin. Also out there for Huron is Anthony as well. That's brought ahead as here comes Huron into the near corner. There's a three-point shot off the front of the rim, trying to pull it away. Out of bounds. That is going to stay Huron ball as they have the 4-point lead. As going to inbound is Bibbins. Bibbins gets over on the near side over to Gondezi. Gondezi. Foul called. 2 fouls on Pioneer, 3 on Huron. As now they'll have Gondezi inbound along the near sideline. He gets it all the way back. Bibbins picks it up back in the backcourt. Bibbins brings it ahead. Juhas watching him. Bounce pass over on the near side over to Bramson. Bramson gets it back. Puts it over on the far side to Anthony. Put up underneath, rolling around as it was a good shot by Salahuddin, but it rolled off the rim. Coming on, Juhas for Pioneer. Juhas puts up with the right hand and puts it in. First points for Juhas. It is now a 2-point lead for Huron, 9-7. 3 minutes left to go here in the first. As Bibbins brings it up for Huron. He's along the far sideline trying to work against Juhas. Bounce pass over to Gondezi, who goes into the paint. Whistle blown as contact made. As that's going to be Huron ball. Baseline right. They get it over to Bibbins. Bibbins has that pulled away by Juhas, but a whistle blown. That's going to be a foul on Juhas. 3 fouls on Pioneer. 3 fouls on Huron. Huron will inbound on the near sideline as Gondezi to inbound. Gets it over to Bibbins in the backcourt. Bibbins brings it ahead. Juhas watching him. Bounce pass. That knocked away by Christian. Bibbins gets it back though. Bibbins on the far sideline. Moves it over to Salahuddin. Now on the near side. That shot rims in. Rolls right around by Gondezi. That was a 3-point shot as Pioneer brings it ahead. As quickly up and in. So it is Pioneer 9 and Huron 12, bringing it up Bibbins. Bibbins comes along the far sideline, bounce pass, trying to get that over. Spinning with it, Bramson. Bramson gets it high underneath Anthony, knocked away. Foul called underneath. Juhas can't believe it. He thought he got all ball. That's going to end up being 4 fouls on Pioneer as it's Huron 12 and Pioneer 9. 4 fouls on Pioneer, 3 on the River Rats. At the line is Anthony, shooting 2. Puts it up and off the back of the rim, bounces wide. Kiefer comes back in, as well as Ted Lee and Eliler for Huron. Obviously, Anthony stays in at the line as well as Gondezi. That put up, rims off to the far side, pulled down by Christian. Here comes Pioneer. Huron has the 3-point lead as Christian trying to get it underneath, trying to throw it to Frischler. That knocked down by Eliler. Quickly ahead is Anthony. Anthony puts it up off glass, would not fall. As Hussein Kandi underneath trying to provide pressure, and they'll call him for a foul. That's 5 fouls on Pioneer. Anthony back to the line. That up and a little too strong off the back of the rim. Roar in for Pioneer. Hussein Kandi. Christian. Hausman. As well as Frischler. Second one is up and good for Anthony. That gives him 5 points. 13 points for Huron, 9 for Pioneer. Stolen away as here comes Gondezi. Gondezi puts it up, contact made, hits the side of the glass, but this will be Pioneer's 6th foul. As Powell set to check in. Powell comes in for Pioneer, replacing Hussein Kandi. Lee going to inbound baseline right underneath their own basket. That's 6 fouls on Pioneer, almost in the bonus. As battle for it underneath, that's going to be a jump ball as Rohrer got his hands on there, battling with Eliler. That's going to point Pioneer's way. So it is a 4-point lead by Huron. 1 minute, 40 seconds left to go here in the first. 13 points for Huron, 9 points for Pioneer. Hausman brings it up for Pioneer. Houseman dribbles down the far sideline, quickly into the far for Powell. Powell gets it to Rohr. Rohr putting it up. Not quite strong enough as it spun away, but contact made, making that shot go awry. As that should be the 4th foul on Huron. Rohr will go to the line shooting 2. With the opportunity to cut it to a 2-point lead if he's able to make both of them. Rohr toes the line, dribbles, spins it, puts it up, and puts it in off the front, the back of the rim, and then it goes down. And it's Liam Rohr's first point of the day. One more free throw coming. Puts it up, and off the side of the rim, bounces away. That pulled down by Kiefer, heading the other way. Here comes Huron as Ted Lee has it, as he dribbles about 5 feet off the top of the key, moving over on the far wing. That knocked away by Powell. Powell trying to grab it off the floor, heads it over to Uhas. Here comes Pioneer with it. Uhas has that tipped away. Ted Lee grabs it, but there is a whistle and a travel call. 1 minute, 8 seconds left to go. It is 13 points for Huron, 10 points for Pioneer. As that's going to be Pioneer ball, that over to Houseman, inbounded. Houseman gets over to Powell on the near wing. Powell dribbles to his left, now to his right. Powell gets it over to Christian. Christian working that far wing, kicks it back to Powell. 57 seconds left to go in the quarter. Houseman back to Powell. Powell over to Frisler on the near wing. Back top of the key, trying to get it underneath in the paint to Rohr. Rohr puts it off glass, little strong. That pulled down by Kiefer. Here comes the River Rats. Ted Lee the other direction. Huron with the 3-point lead. Lee dribbles into the paint, puts it up off glass, not quite strong enough, pulled down by Frisler. Frisler for Pioneer heads the other direction, quickly ahead. That on the far side, Powell with it. That up and in. It is a 1-point lead with 19 seconds left to go as Ted Lee being watched by Houseman. Ted Lee dribbles to his right. Now trying to cut into the paint. Stops, puts it up, and they'll call a travel as he tried to angle to the left and roll it off of his left hand. They called for a travel. 9.1 seconds left to go. As not a lot of time for Pioneer to make something happen, but they have the opportunity down 1 point to try and take the lead before the end of the first. As Christian will inbound, gets it over to Uhas. Clock starts to run, 7 seconds left to go. Uhas comes over center for Pioneer. Uhas with 2 seconds left, puts up the 3-pointer and hits it! Oh, that gives Reed Uhas 5 points and Pioneer the 2-point lead at the end of the first. Well, let's play a little push on, and then we will tell you who has what as far as the spring goes. You're watching Pioneer Men's Junior Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. Again, taking a look at my unofficial tally here. 2 points for Powell, 3 points for Delaney, 1 for Rohr, 2 for Frischler, and 5 for Uhas. Over on the Huron side, it is 5 points for Anthony, 3 points for Gundezi, 2 points for Eliler, 2 points for Hayward, and 1 point for Ted Lee. It is Pioneer 15 and Huron 13 as the ball inbounded. Coming up the far side, or coming up the Hayward, comes over center for Huron. Moves it off on the near side to Kiefer. Kiefer trying to cover down the baseline, puts it up, wouldn't fall down as the rebound put up out of bounds. That'll go over to Pioneer. Rohr will inbound baseline right. Pioneer with the 2-point lead. Looking to add more. Pioneer had their first lead of the game at the very end of the first quarter on a 3-pointer. That's where we stand. Huron knocks it out of bounds. Rohr back to inbound for Pioneer. Gets over on the near side to Pasternak. Pasternak back to Rohr. Rohr bounce pass over to Houseman. Houseman over half court for Pioneer. Getting it over to Pasternak in the near corner. Pasternak quickly doubled. Gets it back to Houseman. Houseman on the near wing. Houseman has that knocked away. Coming down the other way is Eliler. Stops, puts it up off glass. That off the front of the rim. Battle for it has gone. Desi grabbed the rebound, and there's a whistle. That's going to be a foul on Pioneer. They'll put Huron in the bonus. That'll mean that they're shooting 1-1. Has gone Desi at the line. 7 fouls on Pioneer, 4 on Huron. Gondesi toes the line, gets the ball, dribbles it, bends at the knees, puts it up. That off the front, the back of the rim pulled down, and here comes Nelson. Grabbed it that quickly ahead, getting it over to Houseman. Houseman right on the baseline, has that poked away, gets it back, contact made, puts it up off glass, puts it in. Good job by Houseman to fight through contact. That makes it 17 points for Pioneer, 13 for Huron. With just about a minute gone in the second, Hayward pulls it up for the River Rats. He puts it over Gondesi on the far wing, puts up a three-pointer. That rims out, trying to grab that Houseman. Houseman with the rebound. Quickly, here comes Powell for Pioneer. Powell gets it back to Houseman. Houseman into the paint, puts it up off glass with the right hand. That just a little too hard, saving it. Pasternak gets it over. That put up by Houseman and puts it in. Houseman with his 4th point. 6 minutes, 42 seconds left to go. Pioneer has pulled ahead their largest lead, 6 points. Their first lead was right at the end of the first quarter, but it is Pioneer 19 and Huron 13. They took a timeout. We'll take it with them. You're watching Pioneer Junior Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
We are here at the main gym on the campus of Pioneer, where it is Pioneer Men's Junior Varsity Basketball taking on the Huron River Rats with 6:42 left to go before halftime. Pioneer is up 19-13. Pioneer has 7 fouls. That puts Huron in the bonus. They're shooting 1-1 on fouls. Huron has 4 fouls. Ted Lee brings it over half court for Huron. Ted Lee on the near wing gets over to Hayward. Hayward trying to dump it underneath. That put off the side of the rim, then put up again as Eliler taking a couple shots. That pulled away. Here comes Hussein Kande over to Pasternak. Pasternak coming down the near baseline. Puts it up, puts it in. First points for Pasternak. That makes it 21 for Pioneer, 13 for the River Rats. Hayward brings it up court for the River Rats. He comes over half court, moves it over. On the far side, Ted Lee trying to get it underneath. That spun out. Back, top of the key, moving it over on the near side to Anthony. Anthony trying to drive, puts it up off glass, puts it in. So the basket counts. And 1 for Anthony. That is his 7th point, trying to make it 8 points. It is now a 6-point lead for Pioneer. Trying to cut it down to a 5-point lead is Anthony, as he's towing the free throw line to our right. Gets the ball, dribbles it, eyes the rim, puts it up, puts it, and that off the back of the rim, that pulled down. Here comes Pioneer with it quickly. Christian ahead. Christian in the far corner, loses the ball, gets it back. Christian trying to come down the baseline, getting it over to Hassan Kande. Hassan Kande over to Pasternak. Pasternak gets it back to Hussein Kande. Hussein Kande, top of the key, being watched by Ted Lee. Dribbles to his left, spins with it, gets it over to Frisler. Frisler trying to get it along the baseline. That's Hassan Kande trying to put it up, knocked down, pulled away by Ruff. And here comes Huron with it. Pioneer by 6. Huron over half court. There is a whistle as Ted Lee got over half court. And they're going to call Hussein Kande on the foul. That will put Lee to the line, shooting 1 and 1. As Huron is in the bonus. Substitutions as Uhas comes in for Pioneer, replacing Hussein Kande. Also out there, so it's Christian, Uhas, Passernick, Hassan Kande, and Frissler out there for Pioneer. That off the back of the rim. So Lee misses the free throw, front end of a one-on-one. Here comes Uhas for Pioneer. Uhas over half court. Uhas on the far wing. Dribbles, top of the key. Uhas work his way around the arc, trying to get into the paint. Puts it up off glass. A little hard off the glass. Came off the back of the glass in front of the rim. But there will be a foul. And it's a 5th foul for Huron. That puts Uhas at the line in the act of shooting, so that's going to be 2 shots for Uhas. Puts the first one up, and off the back of the rim, he'll get one more. 21 points for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Uhas with another shot coming. That put up and in. Uhas with 6 points, 22 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Hayward brings it ahead. Passernick watching him. Hayward for Huron gets it over. That Ruff gets it back. That shot up off the back of the rim, trying to pull it down. That ball grabbed as Salahuddin had a great rebound, but couldn't quite keep control and stepped out of bounds. That is going to go over to Pioneer. Hassan Kande inbounds it to Uhas. Uhas brings it ahead for Pioneer. Pioneer with the 7-point lead, 22-15. Uhas on the near wing. Uhas dribbles into the paint, puts it off glass. That's just a little too far to the left. Christian trying to pull that away. Ruff gets it ahead to Hayward. Hayward for Huron, dribbling down the far sideline. Passernick watching him. Gets over to Anthony. Anthony over to Ruff. Ruff, that just a little strong. As Bramford trying to hold it in bounds, that off of Huron, out of bounds. That'll go over to Pioneer. 4:26 left to go here before halftime. Pioneer 22, Huron 15. Frissler to inbound, baseline right, gets it over to Uhas. Uhas brings it ahead for Pioneer. Uhas has Bibbins watching him. Uhas gets the free throw line. Now moves over to Passernick on the near wing. Passernick works his way around the arc, gets it over to Uhas on the far wing. Into the paint. Uhas puts it up and rolls it in. It rolled around the rim and down. That is 8 points for Uhas, 24 for Pioneer, 15 for Huron. Hayward brings it ahead for Huron, gets it over to Bramford. Bramford moving it over, pulling it in is Salahuddin, who puts it in. That is his first points of the game. As Pioneer brings ahead, Christian has it. Pioneer with the 24-17 lead. Christian into the paint. That knocked away, trying to get to it is Salahuddin, and there will be a foul called. That is going to be shots then, as they're now in the double bonus, is Huron. So Salahuddin will toe the line to our right. So it's a 7-point lead for Pioneer. First one, a little strong off the back of the rim, bounces out. Still have one more coming. As King comes in for Huron. Salahuddin, one more shot coming, puts it up. That off the front, the back of the rim, then falls off the side. Here comes Pioneer with it. 7-point lead. Houseman has it over center. Gets over to Christian coming down the far sideline. Puts it up. That's just a little short, pulled away by Huron. Bibbins has it the other direction for the River Rats. Comes over center. As Bibbins being watched by Houseman. Bounce pass over to Hayward. Hayward on the near wing. Works his way around the arc. Hayward gets over to Bibbins on the far wing. Now moved over to Salahuddin. Salahuddin Trying to work on that far sideline. That knocked away. Good job by Frisler to take a three-point shot away from Huron. Now here comes Pioneer with it. Houseman on the far wing. Houseman puts up a 18-footer. That one just a little off mark. Coming the other direction is Anthony for Huron. Pasanic trying to knock it down. Double teamed. Anthony gets out of it. That along the far sideline put up just a little strong. Christian with the rebound, but that knocked away. Anthony with it for Huron, but traveling called. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go before halftime. 24 points for Pioneer, 17 for Huron. As Huron is in the double bonus, 5 fouls on Huron. As Christian looking to inbound to Houseman. So Pioneer still with that 7-point lead. Christian inbounds to Houseman. Houseman bringing ahead for Pioneer over the blockades. Calling out signals. He's on the far wing, Houseman is. Being watched by Salahuddin. Houseman picks up his dribble, gets it over to Frisler. Frisler just off top of the key, moves it over to Pasanic on the near wing. Pasanic dribbles to his right, trying to get around Hayward. Pasanic puts it up and puts it in. Nothing but net rolled off his right hand. That's 4 points for Pasanic. And that makes a 9-point lead by Pioneer. Well, they want to talk things over, does Huron. Let's play a little push on and get you fired up for the last 2 minutes, 15 seconds of this second quarter. You're watching Pioneer Men's JV Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left up on the clock before halftime. Pioneer 26, Huron 17. Pioneer over 10 fouls, which means anytime they foul, Huron is shooting 2. As that brought up by Gundezi. Gundezi moves over on the near side to Kiefer. Kiefer bouncing it underneath for the River Rats. That shot off the rim, pulled down as that was Eliler with it. Now here comes Pasanic the other direction for Pioneer. Moves it over to Houseman. Houseman on the far wing. Houseman dribbles back, looking for a place to go. Gets it over to Christian. Christian along the far sideline over to Houseman. Houseman calls out signals. Houseman on that far wing gets a screen from Delaney. Delaney trying to get it. That poked away. As that was tipped, and they're going to call foul on that. That is going to be shots for Huron, as Gundezi fouled as he was trying to get the rebound. He'll go to the line, shooting 2. Trying to cut into a 9-point lead for Pioneer. Gundezi dribbles, eyes the rim, bends the knees, puts it up. And off the front, the back of the rim that fell off to the far side. He'll get another shot, though. It's 1 minute, 40 seconds left to go before halftime. It's Gundezi now. Gets the ball, dribbles it, bends the knees, puts it up. Again, would not fall. Rebound by Christian. Here comes Pioneer with it. Frisler sends it ahead. Here comes Houseman on the far wing. Houseman trying to get to the free throw line. Passes over. Christian takes a 15-footer. That just bounces off the side, off the rim. Pulled down by Huron. Here they come as Gundezi gets over half court. Pasanic watching him. Gundezi on the near wing for the River Rats. That tipped away by Pasanic. Pasanic comes into the paint. Puts it up with the left hand off the glass and in. At 6 points for Pasanic, as Pioneer has a 11-point lead with 1 minute, 5 seconds left to go before halftime. Gundezi gets it over on the near side, over to Anthony. Anthony on the near wing. Back over to Kiefer. Kiefer for 3. Then off the side of the rim, out of bounds. That will be Pioneer ball. 56.7 seconds left before halftime. It is Pioneer 28 and Huron 17. Christian inbound, baseline right, gets it over to Pasanic for Pioneer. Pasanic coming down the near sideline, being watched by Ted Lee. That over to Houseman. Houseman Comes up, gets it over to Pasternak in the near corner. Pasternak back to Hausman. Hausman keeps it. Nope. Oh, just couldn't keep it from going over and back. As valiant attempt, but the ball slipped just over. 43.9 seconds left to go. Gondesi into the inbound right in front of us on the near sideline for the River Rats. Gets it over to Kiefer. Kiefer brings it over half court. 11-point lead for Pioneer. Kiefer dribbles to his left, being watched. Kiefer has Frischler on him. Gets it over to Gondesi. Gondesi into the paint. Gondesi runs into Christian. There's a whistle, and that's going to go over to Pioneer. 31 seconds left to go even. Pioneer 28, Huron 17. This left in the second quarter. Hausman brings ahead for Pioneer. Hausman moves over in the near corner. Pasternak for three, and he hits it. That is going to be 9 points for Pasternak, 31 for Pioneer, 17 for Huron. 15 seconds left to go. Ted Lee brings it up. He's calling out signals. Uhas watching Ted Lee. Ted Lee dribbles to his left, trying to get to the free throw line. Now kicks it out. There's a three-pointer by Gondesi. That off the side of the rim and out of bounds. 2 seconds left to go, as that's going to be Pioneer ball. Pioneer with the 14-point lead. Christian inbounds it over to Pasternak, and that is the end of the first. So at the end of one, let's take a look at my completely and totally unofficial scoring here. 9 points for Pasternak. We take a look, that would be 8 points for Uhas, 4 points for Hausman, 3 points for Delaney, 2 points for Powell, 2 points for Frischler, 1 point for Rohr, and I feel like I'm missing 2 points there, but that's okay. Again, it's unofficial, so doing my best. Over on the other side for Huron, it is 7 points for Anthony, 3 points for Gondesi, 2 points for Hayward, 2 points for Salahuddin, 2 points for Eliler, and 1 point for Ted Lee. And that is where we stand at halftime. So Pioneer didn't have the lead until the very last shot of the first quarter, putting in a three-pointer that gave him the lead, and then they did not give it up in that entire second quarter. Pioneer will try and extend that lead in the second half, whereas, of course, Huron will try and chip away at it. We have about 9 minutes up on the clock. We'll play a few messages from the MHSAA as you're watching Pioneer Junior Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Junior Varsity Men's Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
we are fired up for the second half of action here. Pioneer took the lead again on the last shot of the first quarter. On a three-point shot that gave them a 2-point lead. They haven't looked back since, as they have the 31 to 17-point lead on the Huron River Rats here on the Pioneer men's junior varsity basketball game. That inbounded Roar gets it over to Juhas. Juhas brings it up. That over on the far side to Frissler. Frissler trying to get it underneath. That tipped away from Roar. Coming the other direction is Eliler. Eliler handing it off to Ruff. Ruff puts it off glass and in. Ruff's first points of the game. That makes it 31 for Pioneer, 19 for Huron. 12-point lead as Pioneer has it. Juhas on the near side gets it over to Pasternak on the near wing. Pasternak dribbles to his left. Now passing it underneath to Christian. Christian off glass, puts it up, puts it in. That's Christian's first points of the game. 33 for Pioneer, 19 for Huron as Ted Lee brings it across for the River Rats. As Pasternak watching him, Ted Lee gets into the paint, puts it up off the right hand. That just out of bounds, grabbing it on the near side. Kiefer. Kiefer for three. That rims out as pulled down by Frissler. Frissler gets it over. Here comes Juhas. Back to Frissler for Pioneer. Quickly on the far wing, that shot for three rims out from Pasternak as Huron has the rebound. That back to Ted Lee. So 14-point lead by Pioneer. Ted Lee has it on the near wing, gets it over to Kiefer. Kiefer working his way around the arc. Kiefer passes it over to Ruff. Ruff over to Anthony. Anthony along the far sideline. Anthony skies it underneath. That blocked by Juhas, saved. And Roar grabs it. Pasternak saves it. Then Kiefer steals the pass. Ted Lee into the paint. Puts it up off the rim. That put up by Anthony. Trying to grab the rebound. That grabbed underneath. Anthony gets another rebound. Puts it up. And there's a whistle. Anthony with his 9th point. As it's 33 points for Pioneer. 21 for Huron. 12-point lead. Frissler to inbound. Baseline left, 6:19 left to go. Here in the third. Juhas brings it ahead for Pioneer. Juhas over half court. Ted Lee watching him, moves it over to Frissler. Frissler, top of the key, into the paint. Trying to bounce pass over along the far sideline. Pasternak. They'll call travel. That'll go over to Huron at 6:09 left to go in the third. Kiefer inbounds it over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee calling out signals as he brings it up for the River Rats. Ted Lee over half court, moves it over to Ruff. Ruff over to Anthony. Anthony trying to work down the baseline on the near side, gets into the paint, double teamed as both Christian and Delaney were on top of him, and a whistle blown. As the Huron bench pleading its case, the Pioneer bench pleading its case, but Anthony goes to the line, puts up the first free throw, that off the front, the back, both sides, and goes down. As Anthony makes it a even 10 points with one more free throw coming. 11-point lead for Pioneer. Anthony trying to make it a 10-point lead. That rimmed out, trying to grab it, put up, and Eliler puts it in. As that is his 4th point, and it's a 9-point lead for Pioneer. Juhas has it for Pioneer underneath the Christian. Christian, trying to move it over. That intercepted. Here comes Huron with it as Ted Lee has it on the far wing. Ted Lee tries to cut into the paint. Gets among the tall trees, puts it up. Whistle blown. That'll put Ted Lee to the line. 2nd foul on Pioneer. None on Huron so far this half. 33 points for Pioneer, 24 for Huron, 9-point game. Ted Lee fouled when shooting, so he'll have 2 free throws. As he puts it up, first one off the front of the rim. Substitutions coming in. As Juhas will take a seat, Houseman comes in. Lee has another. Ted Lee has another shot coming. Puts it up. That one rimmed out, rolled right off, and that rebounded, though, by Huron, as Huron has gotten a lot of offensive rebounds so far in this half. Ted Lee has it. Bounce pass over to Bramford. Bramford over to Ruff. Ruff, top of the key. Ruff being watched by Pasternak. Moves it over on the far side by Eliler. Now that back over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee being watched by Houseman. Ted Lee, top of the key, dribbles to his left. Gets it over, trying to come down. Salahuddin, that shot low, but Salahuddin got a rebound, and now that will be out of bounds, I believe, to Pioneer. Good defensive set, but Huron getting a lot of offensive rebounds, getting a lot of second chances. Christian to inbound, baseline left, gets it to Houseman for Pioneer. 9-point lead by Pioneer, 5 minutes left to go in the third. Christian on the near wing, floats it over on the far sideline for Pasternak. Pasternak works his way around the arc, gets it to Houseman, top of the key. Underneath for Nelson. Nelson double teamed, bounce passes it over to Frisler. Frisler into the paint, puts it up off glass. There's a whistle, as that is going to be on Lee. First foul for Huron, 2 on Pioneer, 1 on Huron. Frisler goes to the line, shooting 2. Spins the ball, eyes the rim, puts it up. And off the back of the rim, one more shot coming. Frisler trying to make it a 10-point lead by Pioneer. Bramford goes out, and in would be Williams for Huron. Frisler puts up his second shot, puts it in. Nothing but net on that one. 3 points for Frisler. All free throws. 4:41 left to go here in the third. As Salahuddin has it, moves it over. Ruff for 3. Ruff. That off the glass and off the rim. Pulled down by Grant Nelson. Nelson gets it over to Houseman. Houseman on that far wing. Houseman for Pioneer has Ted Lee watching him. Houseman gets it over to Frisler. Frisler to Christian. Christian gets into the paint, puts it underneath, trying to put that up was Nelson, pulled down by Salahuddin. Salahuddin brings it ahead for Huron. 10-point lead by Pioneer. Salahuddin on that far wing, dribbles out, trying to get it over to Ted Lee. That knocked away by Pasternak. Here comes Pasternak. That tipped away by Ruff. The other direction. Here comes Huron. Ted Lee into the paint, bounces it over to Anthony. Anthony puts it up. Oh, rolls, just sat on that front of the rim, rolled off. Here comes Nelson for Pioneer. Nelson comes down the paint, loses the handle. That is going to be Huron ball. Christian pleads his case. 3:46 left to go here in the third. 10-point lead, 34 points for Pioneer, 24 for Huron. As Gondezi to inbound it, baseline right. Gets it to Hayward. Hayward bringing it ahead for the River Rats. Watching him is Pasternak. That moved over as Kiefer trying to get it underneath to Hayward. That knocked away. Again, another offensive rebound. That over to Kiefer. Kiefer on the near wing. Gets it over to Anthony. Anthony, heavy defense by Christian on Anthony. Anthony floats it up, trying to get it inside to Williams. There's a whistle blown. It looks like, did they get Hassan Kande? 3 fouls on Pioneer. Looks like they did. Bounce pass over to Kiefer. Kiefer for a 17-footer. Hassan Kande goes down to the ground for it. Gets that over. Pasternak over to Frisler. Frisler to Christian. Christian underneath the basket. Puts it up. Puts it in. 4 points for Christian. 36 for Pioneer. 24 for Huron. That brought ahead by Gondezi. Gondezi spins. Bounce pass over to Williams. Williams over to Hayward. Hayward into the paint, puts it up. That rolls off the front, the back of the rim. Offensive rebound for Huron. They get it to Anthony. Anthony takes a shot, wouldn't fall. As Hussein Kande gets it ahead. That intercepted by Hayward, trying to go the other direction. So they were trying to outlet it to Pasternak. That grabbed, put up. Gondezi with the 3-point shot. Christian with the rebound. Here comes Pioneer as trying to put it up. Houseman. And they'll say Anthony got all ball, and here comes Huron the other direction. Gondezi with it into the paint. He puts it up off glass and in. That'll be his 5th point. 10-point lead quickly ahead. Christian puts it up, puts it in. Good feed. That's his 6th point. and a blistering pace in this last couple minutes. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left to go here in the third. It is 12-point lead by Pioneer, 38-26. As we'll play a little push on, keep you fired up, keep them fired up, keep everybody fired up. So you're watching Pioneer Men's JV Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. 2 minutes, 13 seconds left to go here in the third. 12-point lead by Pioneer. 3 fouls for Pioneer this half, 1 foul for Huron this half. Fouls led to Huron being in the bonus and the double bonus in the first half. Kiefer to inbound for Huron on the far sideline. Gondesi bringing it up for the River Rats. Houseman watching Gondesi. Gondesi bounce pass over on the far side. That picked up. Hayward trying to get it underneath. That knocked away as Houseman thought he got all ball. As Williams went up, they'll call a foul. That'll be the 4th on Pioneer. So that'll put Gondesi at the line shooting 2. Toes the line, dribbles the ball, bends the knees, puts it up, puts it in. That is his 6th point. Gondesi has 1 more shot, trying to get it down to a 10-point lead by Pioneer. Puts it up. Nothing but net on that one. 7 points for Gondesi. Here comes Houseman. Houseman quickly over to Frischler on the far sideline. As along the far wing, that is Rohr. And he is double teamed. They're grabbing at the ball and the whistle. So that's going to be the 2nd foul by Huron this half. Not in the act of shooting, so Pioneer will inbound on the far sideline. Kiefer watching the inbound. Frischler, the inbound. Williams heads off. Is the inbound tipped, but Houseman gets it in the far corner, going over to Hassan Kande. Hassan Kande puts it up. That knocked down. Coming the other direction. Gondesi gets over to Kiefer. Kiefer for 3. That off the side of the rim. Rebound pulled away by Eliler. Whistle blown. That'll be, looks like Huron ball on the far sideline as Hayward to inbound right in front of his own bench. Hayward gets it all the way back as Ted Lee has it over half court for the River Rats. Gondesi trying to put up a 3-pointer and hits it. Looking... as they called a foul on that. That makes it a 7 and now 6-point lead. So that was a 3-pointer and 1. 1 minute, 30 seconds left to go. It is now a 6-point lead by Pioneer. Rohr, to inbound. Rohr gets it over to Frischler. Frischler back to Rohr. Rohr moves it over to Houseman. Houseman coming down the near sideline for Pioneer. Full court pressure for the River Rats. Bringing it over. Rohr, bounce pass over to Houseman. Houseman just outside the blockades. Trying to get it underneath to Christian. That knocked away. Hayward cut into the way. Tipped it out, but that'll stay Pioneer ball. Passernick to inbound, baseline right underneath the Pioneer basket. Powell comes in, gives Rohr a breather. And there'll be a timeout called. We'll take it with them. It's down to a 6-point lead with 1 minute, 16 seconds left to go in the third. You're watching Pioneer Men's JV Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Where can you find good information on all kinds of topics related to the well-being of our student athletes? Check out the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. Learn about multi-sport participation, heat and hydration, cardiovascular resources, as well as insurance benefits available for our students. It's all on the health and safety page of MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
1 minute, 16 seconds left to go in the third. 38 points for Pioneer, 32 for Huron. Huron's gotten it down to a 6-point lead. That's the closest it's been in this half of basketball. 5 fouls on Pioneer, 2 on Huron. Pioneer will inbound, baseline right, underneath their own basket. Frissler, the inbound. Frissler looking for a place to go, gets it all the way back out to Powell. Powell on the near wing. Powell dribbles to his right. Gets it over. Houseman underneath the Christian. Christian puts it in, rolls in and down. As that is his 8th point, he's heating up. 40 points for Pioneer, 32 for the River Rats. Ted Lee brings it over half court. As Gondesi for the River Rats. That's a 3-pointer. He puts it up and puts it in. That is his 3rd 3-pointer of the game. That makes it a 5-point game. Now the officials talking things over with the scorer's bench. So it's down to a 5-point lead for Pioneer. Christian looking to inbound, baseline left. The officials still talking things over. Pasnick gets a little hand sanitizer. Christian inbounds it, gets it back, coming down the far sideline. Christian stops, moves over to Houseman. Houseman for Pioneer, gets into the paint, moves it over to Powell. Powell makes a move off glass, no basket, as they will say he took that Euro step, and that'll be traveling. Ted Lee brings it ahead. 35 seconds left to go here in the third. 5-point game. Ted Lee brings it over half court. Ted Lee stops at the free throw line, trying to get it over to Anthony. Anthony ends up landing on Christian. There is a whistle blown. As that foul is going to go on Pioneer. They had a better view of it than I did. I'm not. As Ted Lee will inbound it baseline left. As that comes all the way out, saving it is Huron, but that ahead to Powell. Powell puts it off glass and in, and the foul. Powell with his 4th point. It stretches it to a 7-point lead with 22.5 seconds left to go. As substitutions coming in. As Salahuddin comes in, replacing Eliler for Huron. So out there for Huron, Powell bends at the knees, puts it up. That wouldn't fall, but a whistle. I believe that was a lane violation. As Powell will take another shot, 7-point lead, that up off the back of the rim and brought down by Huron, but jump ball as Pasnick got his hands on it and tied up Salahuddin as it's pointed Huron's way. So 7-point lead by Pioneer. 6 fouls for Pioneer, 4 for Huron. And it's a 7-point lead for Pioneer. Ted Lee brings it over half court, being watched by Powell. Ted Lee dribbles with the left hand, gets it top of the key. Moves it over to Gondesi. Gondesi moves it over to Anthony. Anthony in the paint. Anthony puts it up with the right hand off the side of the glass, and that one will be a charge. That's going to go Pioneer's way. It's Christian inbounds. Frischler comes down, skies it all the way down. That tipped away from Pasternak as Pasternak trying to get a three-pointer off. 1.3 seconds left to go before the end of the third. Frischler to inbound, baseline right, gets it over. Christian puts up and puts it in for a two-pointer, as that is 10 points for Christian, as he has taken the point lead for Pioneer. 10 points for Christian. Let's take a look, as that would be 9 points for Pasternak, 5, 6, and 8 points for Juhas, 4 points for Hausman, 4 points for Powell, 3 points for Frischler, 3 points for Delaney, and 1 for Rohr. That is your scores on the Pioneer side. Over on the Huron side, 10 points for Anthony and 14 points for Gondesi, including 3 3-pointers and 1 that he got fouled on. So a really timely shooting there. 4 points for Eliler, 2 points for Ruff, 2 points for Salahuddin, 2 points for Hayward, and 1 point for Lee. And that's where we stand, as it is starting of the fourth quarter. Pioneer 44, Huron 35, 9-point lead. Again, the fouls. One more foul by Pioneer, and that puts Huron in the bonus, shooting 1-1. 6 fouls on Pioneer, 4 on Huron. Christian inbounds. Juhas has it for Pioneer. Juhas brings it over half court. Juhas, and they'll call a travel. Lee called it, and then the officials called it. 7 minutes, 53 seconds left to go. 9-point lead by Pioneer. Hayward inbound. Hayward gets over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee calling out signals for the River Rats. Comes over half court. Juhas watching Ted Lee. Ted Lee on the far wing. Gets over to Hayward on the far sideline. Hayward being watched by Rohr. Hayward gets it. Salahuddin moves it over. That to Gondesi. Gondesi back to Ted Lee. Ted Lee on the near wing. Ted Lee getting into the paint. Puts it up with the left hand. Just a little too hard. Pasternak has it. Pasternak over to Frischler. Frischler double team. Moves it over to Pasternak along the far wing. Pasternak puts up a three-pointer. And off the front of the rim. I'm pretty sure Anthony got a piece of that. Out of bounds. And they're going to say it was out of bounds off of Pioneer. Again, they have a much better view of it. I don't know how, but the officials, good view, and here comes Ted Lee with it. So 9-point lead as Hayward has it for the River Rats, gets it over. Salahuddin working on that far wing, puts it up for Anthony. That knocked down. Christian had it, now pulled away. Over on the nearest side, Gondesi for a three-pointer. That pulled down by Rohr. Rohr spins, looking for a place to go with it. Rohr has Ted Lee trying to steal that away. Ted Lee takes it away. Ted Lee comes down into the paint. Bounce pass over to Gondesi. Gondesi puts it up, but there's a foul. He'll go to the line. Fouled in the act of shooting. He'll shoot 2. That puts it Huron in the bonus as well. 6:47 left to go here in the fourth. Gondesi toes the line, trying to cut into the 9-point lead by Pioneer. Bends the knees, puts it up, and off the front of the rim. One more shot coming for Gondesi. Puts it up. And Christian with, had the rebound. Hayward came over the back, took it away. That knocked down. Here comes Frischler with it. Frischler moves it over to Juhas. Juhas quickly to Powell for Pioneer. Powell gets into the paint, moves it over to Christian. Christian puts up that shot, just a little short. That pulled down by Gondesi. Gondesi heading the other direction for the River Rats over half court. Gondesi on the near wing, gets into the paint, puts it up with the right hand, puts it in. That is 16 points for Gondesi. As here comes Juhas for Pioneer over half court. Hayward providing pressure, double teamed. Juhas bounce passes it, tries to get it over to Pasternak and right over to me, and Uhas will inbound. 6:12 left to go here in the fourth, as it's a 7-point lead by Pioneer. Anthony goes out for a breather as they bring in Eliler for Huron. As Uhas, and they call a 5-second on him just before he released it. So that'll go over to the River Rats. Ted Lee brings it ahead for Huron over half court, as it is a 7-point game. Pioneer ahead as Gondesi has it on the far wing. Gondesi puts it up, and that one couldn't quite get to the glass. Fritzler with the rebound over to Christian. Christian comes into the paint, puts it off glass with the right hand and in. 12 points for Christian. I believe all of that in the second half, as Ted Lee brings it up for the River Rats. Ted Lee being watched by Uhas on that far wing. Uhas tries to poke the ball away over to Kiefer. Kiefer for three. Kiefer, that one just a little long. Pulled, held in. Hayward had it. Trying to knock it away was Uhas. Now Hayward coming down the far sideline. They're going to call a foul on Uhas. That is going to be 8 fouls on Pioneer. It's going to be shooting 1 and 1 will be Hayward. Nine-point lead by Pioneer, 46-37. 8 fouls on Pioneer, so not too far away from the double bonus for Huron. 4 for Huron. And timeout call, but we'll take it with them. How about a message from the MHSAA?
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
5 minutes, 24 seconds left to go in regulation here in the fourth. Pioneers up by 9 points, 46-37. Huron has cut it down to 5. A 5-point lead in this half, but Pioneer built it back up to 9. Huron in the bonus. So they'll be shooting free throws the rest of the way. This is 1 and 1 as Hayward toes the line. First up off the back of the rim, that pulled down by Powell, grabbed by Christian, fired over to Frischler. Here comes Pioneer. Frischler on the far wing. Frischler double teamed, that pulled away as that was Eliler, and they'll call that a double dribble. Now go over to Pioneer. 5 minutes, 11 seconds left to go. Passernick will inbound on the far baseline. Gets it over to Houseman. Houseman on the far wing, spins double team. Pioneer trying to cause some pressure. Houseman puts it up, that off the back of the rim as Christian gets it. That wouldn't fall. Christian gets his own rebound. Now gets it back to Frischler. Frischler moving it over. Passernick makes his way into the paint, puts it up high off the glass. Wouldn't fall. There is a foul underneath as bodies collide. And they'll go all the way back over as Christian called for the foul. That will be the 9th foul on Pioneer. So it'll still be 1 and 1 as Anthony goes to shoot free throws. Oh, no, they didn't. Sorry. They inbounded baseline right. So, bring ahead. Ted Lee brings it over. Now there's a shot by Gondesi. Pulled away by Powell for Pioneer. Knocked away by Ted Lee. Ted Lee stole that. On the far wing, Ted Lee dribbles to his right. Kicks it out. Ruff for 3. Ruff And off the front of the rim, trying to knock it away. Eliler gets it over to Ted Lee. Over to Ruff. Ruff floats it up off glass. Fell off the rim. As that knocked down. Another offensive rebound for Huron. And that's a three-pointer for Ted Lee. That gives him 4 points on the game. 6-point lead by Pioneer. Pasternak with it. Pasternak over to Christian. Coming down the far side. Frischler. Frischler gets it into the far corner by Powell. Powell quickly over to Christian. Christian, top of the key, moves over to Pasternak for three. Pasternak, that off the back of the rim, trying to pull it down. Eliler had it, knocked away by Pasternak, brought down by Gondezi over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee ahead for Huron as it's a 6-point game. Ted Lee gets it underneath to Eliler. That would not go down. That next shot wouldn't go down, as that will continue to be Huron ball as they threw it off of Pasternak. 3 minutes, 41 seconds left to go. 46 points for Pioneer, 40 for Huron. Ted Lee to inbound. Baseline left. Houseman gets a breather. Pasternak guarding the inbounds. Gondezi gets it over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee works his way around the rim, gets it to Gondezi on the far wing. Gondezi back to Ted Lee, right around the block A's, being watched by Juhas. Ted Lee with the left hand that popped out as he got into the paint, coming down the other side. Juhas had that knocked away. It's going to stay Pioneer ball as that was knocked away by Huron. Pasternak to inbound. All the way back to Juhas. Juhas dribbling on the far wing over to Frischler. Frischler gets it. There's a three-pointer for Pasternak, who puts it in. That's his second three-pointer of the game. That makes it a 9-point game. Ted Lee brings it ahead for Huron. Ted Lee kicks it over to Gondezi on the near wing. Gondezi dribbles around, tries to get down the baseline, puts it up with the right hand. Contact made, fell short. If that is a foul on Pioneer, and it is, that puts Huron in the double bonus. It's gone. Desi puts it up, puts it in. That is 17 points for him, if my tally is correct. Leads all scores. Gondezi with another one, trying to get it down to a 7-point lead. 3:02 left to go. Substitutions coming in for Pioneer. Nelson out there, Pasternak out there, Juhas, Frischler, and Christian. Gondezi puts up the other one that rims out. Rebound by Nelson. Nelson gets it over to Juhas. Juhas coming down the far sideline. Juhas for Pioneer gets it over on the near side to Frischler. Frischler for three. Oh, that off the rim. Battle for it underneath. Frischler gets the rebound, puts it up off glass, but there's a foul. Just a little strong off glass. That should be the 5th foul on Huron. It'll be a shooting foul, though, so Frischler goes to the line. Shooting 2 with 2 minutes, 48 seconds left to go. First one in. That is his 4th point, all of them being free throws so far. Puts up the second free throw and puts it in. So 5 points for Frischler. It's a 10-point lead with 2:48 left to go. Pioneer with the lead. Hayward to inbound, baseline right. Hayward gets it back, moves over on the near side to Ted Lee. Ted Lee brings it up. Ted Lee double team, moves it over to Hayward. Hayward has that knocked away by Juhas. Here comes Juhas for Pioneer. Juhas puts it up off the glass, wouldn't go in, but Christian gets the rebound. 14 points for Christian. Pioneer up by 12. As Anthony for the River Rats brings it into the paint, puts it up off glass and in. Anthony will have 12. As here comes Pioneer with it. Juhas right at half court, trying to avoid a double team. Juhas now double teamed right at the block A's, trying to dribble out of it. As both Anthony and Lee providing pressure by the River Rats, and a timeout called by Pioneer. 2 minutes, 14 seconds left to go. It's a 10-point game. Let's play. Push on once more. Get you fired up and ready for the last couple minutes of this game. You're watching Pioneer Men's JV Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. 2 minutes, 14 seconds left in the fourth. Pioneer with the 10-point lead. Pioneer inbound on the far sideline, right in front of the scorer's box. That brought all the way back to Juhas. Juhas bringing up the far sideline. Huron looks to double team that quickly ahead. Steal by Huron. Ted Lee puts up off glass. Anthony gets it. Anthony puts up. That wouldn't fall. Anthony again gets it and puts it in. That is 14 points for Anthony, as the offensive rebounds for Huron continue to pile up. They haven't had a lot of luck at the line, but they have really excelled at the offensive rebounds, causing Pioneer difficulty with second chance points, as Pioneer wants to talk it over. Huron is in the double bonus, as Pioneer has more than 10 fouls. Huron has 5 fouls. It is 53 points for Pioneer, 45 for Huron. So it's an 8-point lead and 1 tick under 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth. As both teams talking things over, Pioneer called the timeout, wanted to get their game plan set, trying to hold on to this lead. As if you go all the way back to the first quarter, Huron dominated the first quarter as Pioneer took their first lead of the game on the 3-point shot that was put up as time expired in the first. And from there, Pioneer has led from the second quarter to this point. Fritzler to inbound, baseline left. Gets that over to Juhas, full pressure coming. Juhas has that out of bounds as Juhas had it. Ted Lee tried to knock it away. Went out of bounds. Pioneer will get to inbound, baseline left. Fritzler to inbound. As that ahead, Fritzler gets ahead to Christian. Christian over on the other side to Pasternak. Pasternak for 3, that off the rim, trying to pull that down as Juhas trying to save it. That went off of Huron. As Pioneer will inbound on the far sideline. Juhas inbound, 1:44 left to go. Hausman has it on the far sideline. Huron quickly to double team. Moves over to Christian. Christian over to Pasternak. Pasternak moves it to Fritzler in the near corner. Fritzler was bumped. Hayward picks up the foul. That'll be the 6th foul on Huron. One more, and Pioneer will be in the bonus. Fritzler inbounds. Fritzler gets it back for Pioneer. Moves it over to Hausman. Hausman underneath that from the far corner. Puts it up and puts it in, as that was Pasternak over there. That is his third three-pointer in a row. That makes it 56 points for Pioneer, 45 for Huron. That's 15 points for Pasternak, and none more timely than that three-pointer. It's an 11-point lead, 1 minute, 25 seconds left to go. Huron is providing full court pressure and trying to trap whoever has the basketball, but that takes a lot of effort. Huron has a big bench. That burns through a lot of energy. Under a minute and a half left. That pulled ahead. Hayward sends it over to Ted Lee. Ted Lee coming down the near sideline. That over to Eliler. Eliler puts it up. That rebound wouldn't fall. Christian has it. Christian bounce passes it over to Hausman. Hausman ahead to Christian. Christian gets into the paint, trying to kick it back out. That pulled back by Juhas. Juhas comes over on the near sideline. Hausman on the near wing gets it over on the far side for Frissler, then getting it back. Contact made as Lee ran into Juhas, but then had fantastic sportsmanship, came over to try and help him up. That'll put Juhas to the line, shooting 1-1, 59 seconds left to go. Pioneer by 11. Juhas looking to try and balloon that to 13. First one up. That falls away. Huron has it. Lee bringing up the near side. Pioneer by 11 points. Lee, top of the key, moves it over. That to Gondesi. Gondesi over on the far side, trying to get that out for Bramford. Now there's a shot by Gondesi, trying for a three-pointer. He's had several of those. That one wouldn't fall as Lee has it. Ted Lee, top of the key. Ted Lee trying to pull up a three-pointer as Frissler got a hand on that. Here comes Juhas for Pioneer. Juhas over half court. And foul called. Juhas will go to the line, shooting 1-1, 29.3 seconds left to go. It's a tall hill for Huron to climb here in the JV game. Best thing Pioneer can do is hit some free throws now. Try and stretch that lead. Juhas puts it up, puts it in. Nine points for Juhas. 12-point lead. Juhas can balloon it to a 13-point lead with under 30 seconds left to go. Next one up, that off the front of the rim. That pulled down. Gondesi moves it over on the near side. As pulling that up is Bibbins. Bibbins on the near wing. Bibbins kicks it back. Now having it, Gondesi trying to get into the paint. Kicks it to Hayward for three. Hayward puts that up. That off the side of the rim. Trying to pull it down. That grab back to Bibbins. Bibbins for three. That wouldn't fall down. That collected. Here comes Christian. 2 seconds left to go. Christian lays it off glass and in, and that is the exclamation point, the cherry on top. 16 points for Christian as Pioneer wins it by a score of 59 to 45 as Huron controlled the first quarter. Pioneer able to take over after that as we take a look. 16 points for Christian. It was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points for Passernick. Taking a look here, that would be 6, 7, 8, 9 points for Juhas, 4 points for Powell, 4 points for Hausman, 5 points for Frissler, 3 points for Delaney, and 1 point for Rohr. Over on the Huron side, it was 14, 15, 16, 17 points for Gondesi, leading everyone on that one. 14 points for Anthony. Then it was 4 points for Lee, 4 points for Eliler, 2 for Hayward, 2 for Salahuddin, and 2 for Ruff. And that is the game, 59 to 45. We will have the varsity game coming up right after this as 14 minutes up on the clock. So we'll stop this, get the other one going. Thank you for watching. For myself, Mark Wiseman, my cameraman, James Wiseman. Have a great night.